I booked a train ride from Amsterdam to London for our anniversary, classy, scenic, romantic as hell. First class. Private cabin. I even got her favorite wine, tucked in the bag next to a little velvet box, new earrings, custom made. I was going to give them to her under the stars, somewhere near Brussels. But life had other plans. The trip started well enough. Eliza was glowing when we boarded. "You've outdone yourself," she said, kissing me on the cheek. My chest swelled with pride as the other passengers looked on enviously. 5 years of marriage, and I still knew how to make her eyes light up. Or so I thought. I'd spent 3 months planning this trip. 3 months of overtime, secret calls during lunch breaks, and hiding credit card statements. The earrings alone cost 2 months' worth of savings, platinum with sapphires that matched her eyes. I'd worked with a jeweler who called me 6 times to get the design just right. "Your wife is a lucky woman," he'd said when I picked them up. I remember nodding, thinking I was the lucky one. What a goddamn joke that turned out to be. We settled into our cabin, all polished wood and velvet upholstery. The kind of luxury that makes you whisper even when no one's around. Eliza ran her fingers over the window sill, smiling at the countryside rolling by. I poured us champagne, and we toasted to 5 years. 5 years of what I thought was happiness. "I'll get us some tea," I said after an hour. "The dining car is supposed to be incredible." She smiled. "Take your time. I'm just going to freshen up." I nodded, kissed her forehead, and stepped out. I took my time in the dining car, chatting with the server about their special blend. Picked out some fancy little sandwiches and chocolates. Paid extra for the good china instead of paper cups. Dumbass. On the way back, balancing the tray carefully, I passed a storage cabin that was cracked open just enough to catch my attention. A sound from inside, familiar but out of place, made me stop. I knew that sound. 5 years of marriage, and you learn your wife's every noise. Even the ones she makes when she thinks you can't hear. I stood there frozen, tea going cold in my hands. My brain kept saying, "Walk away," but my feet wouldn't listen. I shifted the tray to one hand and pushed the door open another inch. Inside, I saw her. My wife. With the train conductor. His uniform jacket was hanging off one shoulder. Her blouse was unbuttoned. They were tangled together on top of a stack of luggage, oblivious to the world, oblivious to me standing there like a statue, holding our perfectly arranged tea tray like some pathetic butler waiting to be noticed. She was calling him Marco. Said his name over and over, breathless. Marco. Not even a good name. I didn't barge in. Didn't smash the teacups. Didn't scream or throw punches. I just watched. Like a corpse. 10 seconds that felt like 10 years. Then I turned, walked back to our cabin, and started planning. First, I set down the tea tray. Methodical. Careful. Arranged the little sandwiches just so. My hands didn't even shake. It was like watching someone else's hands moving. I checked my watch. The train would make a brief stop in Brussels in 20 minutes. I texted her, "Take your time. I'll be in London." Then I packed my things. Not hers. Just mine. The bottle of wine went into my bag. So did the earrings. I left her anniversary card on the table, the one where I'd written how these 5 years had been the best of my life. What a cosmic joke. When the train slowed for Brussels, I stepped off casually. No drama. No rush. Just a man with a small suitcase, leaving his life behind on a train pulling away from the platform. I stood there watching as the train disappeared toward the horizon, carrying my cheating wife and her conductor. A strange calm had settled over me. Not peace, something colder. Emptiness, maybe. Or clarity. In the Brussels terminal, I pulled out my phone and got to work. First, I called the credit card company. I need to report fraud on my joint account, I said, my voice mechanical. And remove my wife as an authorized user. Of course, sir. May I ask what happened? I just caught her screwing the help on our anniversary trip. Silence on the line, then a soft, I'm so sorry, sir. I'll take care of this right away. Next, I cancelled her return ticket. Deleted her e-tickets from our shared cloud account. Changed the passwords on our joint email. Booked myself a luxury hotel in London, the one she'd been dying to visit. I took a later train to London. First class again. Sat alone with my bottle of wine and watched the countryside blur by. I drank straight from the bottle. No glass needed. No pretense of civility left. I didn't cry. Didn't rage. Just drank and watched the world pass, feeling nothing and everything at once. My phone buzzed continuously, her calling, then texting, then calling again. I let it ring. Each missed call was another small victory. I imagined her panic growing as she realized she was stranded on that train with no money, no tickets, no husband. The messages started rolling in. Where are you? This isn't funny. Please answer me. I can explain. Baby, please. I read each one with detached curiosity, like they were written in some foreign language I was trying to decipher. The desperation in her words gave me no satisfaction. No pain either. Just nothing. When I reached London, I checked into the hotel, the presidential suite. Will Mrs. Harmon be joining you? The receptionist asked with a practiced smile. No, I said. Mrs. Harmon is otherwise engaged. The suite was ridiculous, bigger than our first apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Thames. A bathtub you could swim in. Champagne on ice waiting by the bed. I stood in the middle of it all, alone, and laughed until my stomach hurt. I ordered room service, everything I knew she would have wanted. Her favorite dishes. The chocolate soufflé she always raved about. I ate it all while sitting in my underwear, watching trashy British television and drinking minibar scotch. By evening, her messages had turned angry. You're being childish. We need to talk about this like adults. How am I supposed to get to London? You can't just leave me here. I turned off my phone. Slept like royalty in that massive bed. Alone. In the morning, I went to the hotel business center and drafted an email. To her parents. To our friends. To her boss. Short and to the point. I regret to inform you that my marriage to Eliza has ended. Yesterday, on our anniversary trip, I discovered her having an affair with a train employee. I am taking time to process this betrayal and would appreciate privacy during this difficult period. For those who had planned to attend our anniversary party next month, consider it cancelled. For those who wish to reach Eliza, she may be difficult to contact at present as she is dealing with the consequences of her actions. I hit send without rereading it. Then I forwarded her our joint bank statements, showing every penny I'd spent on this trip, to her personal email. Subject line, the price of betrayal. Those custom earrings. I sold them to a jeweler in Covent Garden for half what I paid. Used the money to extend my stay at the hotel by another week. When she finally made it to London 2 days later, disheveled and fuming, the hotel staff had strict instructions. Mrs. Harmon was not on the guest list. Security escorted her out while I watched from my window, sipping champagne. She found me eventually, of course. Tracked me down through a mutual friend who felt sorry for her. She came to the hotel again, and this time I agreed to meet her in the lobby, public, crowded, safe from the emotional terrorism she tried to unleash. She looked terrible. Good. Her eyes were red and swollen, makeup smeared despite obvious attempts to fix it. Her clothes were wrinkled, probably the same ones from the train. You humiliated me, she hissed, sliding into the chair across from me. I smiled. Funny. I was going to say the same thing. It wasn't what you think. It never is. You had no right to strand me there. No right to cut me off financially. No right to tell everyone. I cut her off. Let me explain something, Eliza. When you decided to fuck the conductor on our anniversary trip, you forfeited all rights to my money, my consideration, and my silence. She flinched at the coldness in my voice. Good. I wanted it to hurt. We had problems, she whispered. You were always working. Always distracted. Yes, I agreed, working overtime to pay for this trip. To buy you those earrings you'll never see. Planning this surprise you ruined. I leaned forward. Next time you cheat, pick someone who isn't working so hard to make you happy. She started to cry, mascara tracing black rivers down her cheeks. Once, that sight would have destroyed me. Now, I felt nothing but contempt. I want to come home, she said. We can work through this. I laughed. It wasn't a nice sound. There is no home anymore. I filed for divorce this morning. Her face crumpled. You can't mean that. 5 years. 5 years I won't get back, I said, standing up. Consider yourself lucky. I could have made this much worse. She grabbed my wrist. Please. I made a mistake. One mistake. I looked down at her hand until she released me. Goodbye, Eliza. I walked away, her sobs fading behind me. In the elevator, I checked my watch. Just in time for my massage appointment. The spa had come highly recommended. I spent the rest of the week playing tourist in London. Alone. Visited the Tower. Rode the Eye. Drank in pubs where nobody knew my name or my story. When people asked why I was traveling solo, I told them, my wife's sleeping with the help back home. The shocked expressions and free drinks that followed became a game. The divorce was nasty, of course. She fought for everything, the house, the car, even the dog she never walked. Her lawyer painted me as cruel, vindictive, unreasonable. My lawyer countered with evidence of her infidelity and the paper trail of my anniversary plans. In the end, I kept most of what mattered. She kept her dignity, what was left of it after I'd told everyone who would listen exactly why we were divorcing. 1 year later, almost to the day, I took another train trip. Same route. Amsterdam to London. First class again. Different cabin. This time, I traveled alone. Brought a different bottle of wine. Sat by the window and watched the same countryside roll by. When we passed the spot where my marriage had effectively ended, I raised my glass in a silent toast. To betrayal. To survival. To the gift of seeing someone's true face before wasting another 5 years. I slept well that night in London. Alone. But not lonely. There's a difference. Just me and the knowledge that I'd walked away with my pride intact. No second chances. No tearful reconciliation. Just the cold satisfaction of knowing I'd chosen myself when it mattered most. Some gifts come wrapped in pretty packages with bows. Others come disguised as catastrophes. My anniversary gift was learning how strong I could be when everything fell apart. And for that, I almost thank her. Almost.